Hey everyone, Kayley here. So I thought for the end of the year I would just get out of the box a little bit and do a braided mohawk tutorial. I think this one is so cool and so unique, and I also wanted to show you guys some modifications for short hair, so if your hair is shoulder length you can do this hairstyle as well. You're going to start off by making 4 ponytails, and you basically start at your ears and then you go back diagonally, and I'm just going a couple of inches back, and for this first one you can either put it into a ponytail or put it into a clip depending on what you want to do in the next steps. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Then you're going to take another section going from your ears and then going back diagonally, and for the rest of these you're just going to put them into ponytails. So you're just going to use your little hair elastic and put your hair into the ponytail, and then once you're done with that, flip your hair forward over your face and then split the rest of the hair in half and put both of those sections into ponytail holders as well. You want to make sure that when you section your hair, it's really cleanly sectioned. That way you don't have any little pieces of hair trying to get tangled in your elastics, because that is no fun. Once you're done with all of your ponytails, just go ahead and flip them back and we're ready for the next step. If you want to add a pompadour into the style, just take the clip out of that first little section at the front and take just the hair from the top, leaving the sides out. Tease that top section just a little bit, and then brush it back and push it up so that you create your nice little bump slash pompadour. Then just pin that in place as many times as you need to hold it in place. For the sides that are still left from this section, you're just going to slick them back as tight as you can and pin them on top of your head as well. That way it still looks like a mohawk from the front because you have the pompadour on top and then the slicked sides on the side. If you don't want the pompadour, all you have to do is put this section into a ponytail and follow the next steps. Believe it or not, it gets easier from here. All we're going to do is take these ponytails that are left and braid them and turn them into buns. So I'm starting up at the top and braiding the hair that's left over from the pompadour, and then holding my place with a bobby pin. Then I'm going to pull this braid apart a lot because you want these buns to look as organic as possible. You don't want them to look like tight braided buns. So I'm pulling it apart a lot to add texture and volume, and then I'm going to wrap it into the shape of a bun and pin it in place as many times as I need to hold it in place. And then I'm moving on to the next bun, and for the rest of these I'm actually going to tease the base first and then I'm going to braid the ends. I didn't do that with the first section because I didn't have as much hair left, but I'm doing it with the rest of them because you want as much volume in these buns as you can possibly get. So I'm teasing it at the base, then braiding it, pulling that braid apart, and then wrapping the bun. You also want to make sure that you're wrapping the bun just the littlest bit loosely, again so that you can preserve as much volume as you can get. Once you've done that, obviously you can just pin it in place. And I'm moving on to the third one now, teasing, braiding, pulling it apart, and then wrapping it into the shape of a bun. Again, you can see here that I'm wrapping it fairly loosely, and then I'm using about 3 to 4 bobby pins to pin each bun in place. And that is really all that this hairstyle is. It's 4 ponytails and 4 buns. And so it's really quite simple, but it looks a lot more than it is. And I think doing the extra simple step of just adding a little bit of teasing makes a big difference because it changes the texture. You know, it's not all just braids and buns. You add the teasing element in, which kind of gives a little bit more visual interest when you look at the hairstyle and just a little bit more edge. So I like adding those little touches in because it's just a little bit of extra work, but it makes a big difference. So anyway, 4 ponytails, 4 buns, and you have an amazing braided mohawk, and that's it for the long hair version of this hairstyle. And now for the short hair modifications. You're actually going to start out the exact same way as we did before, making 4 ponytails and a pompadour if you want it. Then you're going to split each ponytail in half, and you're going to tease the base of the half that you have. This is going to really help to get as much volume out of each section as you can. Then just smooth it slightly, and I mean just a little bit, you don't have to go crazy. And then you're basically going to make a rainbow shape with this section of hair. So you can see here that I'm curling it to the right, and it's making a little bit of a rainbow section. And then I'm going to pin it at either end of the rainbow. So basically at either side that a pot of gold would be, there is a bobby pin, because that makes sense. And then I'm going to take the other half of the ponytail and basically do the same thing. I'm going to tease the base again just to add more volume, and then I'm going to smooth it just a little bit so it doesn't look too crazy. But then this time when I make the rainbow shape, I'm going in the opposite direction. So this time I'm going to the left. And then I'm making that rainbow shape and I'm pinning it in place on either side. Then once I've done that, I'm moving on to the next ponytail, splitting it in half, again teasing, making those shapes over and over and over again until it's done. If you have finer hair, you could always split your hair into 3 sections instead of 2. And then for the very last section, instead of going to the side, I'm just going to go straight up so that it kind of makes a nice finish to the shape of the mohawk. Once that is done, your short hair version of this hairstyle is complete. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. I always love getting to do something just a little bit different, and I think the holiday time is a really fun time to experiment with your hair and with your look. We have New Year's Eve coming up, and New Year's Eve is a great time to try something just a little bit edgy. So if you do try it out, send me pictures using the hashtag KayleyMelissa. Maybe you'll be my subscriber spotlight in my next video. I'll see you then. Mwah! Bye!